can hear everything we're saying. So we're gonna go ahead and start with our local panel. Just as last time, do you want to introduce yourself and describe your role? We'll start with John over
I'm
here.
John Heikold. I teach over at Lincoln East High School here in town and been teaching some Project Lead the Way classes for a few years now.
I'm Galen Kramer. I'm a junior at East, and I've been doing the PLTW curriculum for about 2 years.
I'm Brenda Gerken. I'm a second grade teacher and launch lead teacher.
Carla Dorsey, technology coordinator and Project Lead the Way administrator at Trinity Lutheran School.
I'm the assistant curriculum specialist for career and tech ed and skilled technical sciences, and the district administrator for Project Lead the Way for Lincoln Public Schools.
Thank you. So John, how long has your school had Project Lead the Way, and how is it being implemented?
I think initially LPS sent some teachers to get trained in digital electronics way back in 2007, 2008.
That was your first class?
And my first class was Introduction to Engineering Design, I think in 2009. And then I've since been trained also in civil engineering and architecture as well in 2011, I think it was. So we've had primarily IED and CEA classes there at Eastside and all the LPS schools for like going on about 7 years now.
Okay. We just added the Career Academy.
And we added Principles of Engineering this year at the Career Academy. Travis teaches.
How is it being implemented at Trinity Lutheran? It's probably a very different model.
Yep, this is our first year, and each teacher is implementing their own module. So the kindergarten teacher is implementing their module, the first grade teacher is implementing a module, and likewise for each class.
Right, and you mentioned
In
there's just one module. a
One
year.
module in each classroom this year,
Okay.
with the intention to add a second next year.
Excellent, and how's that going?
It's going well,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
And all great, you're going up to 5th grade, is that?
All the way through 8th.
We go, yeah.
Oh, that's right, you have
Yeah,
a
we have
Gateway
Gateway
too.
also.
Right,
Yep,
so
launch
we
and
have-
Gateway.
Can you comment on Gateway a little bit?
We have
since
one
haven't-
teacher that runs Gateway. He does the, actually he sort of does 5th grade too, how we're structured. So he sort of dips down into launch by teaching 5th grade, but he also does 6th through 8th grade. So it's going pretty well. We got our 3D printers in place, so we started out with design and modeling first. So we've got our 3D printers. We decided to try the Autodesk for the app versus actually installing the Autodesk onto, because we're an Apple. So instead of having to partition all of our machines, we decided to try the app first. So that's working pretty well. So we're working through some of that right now and just
The app on
still learning it.
On
On
a
an
tablet?
iPad. No, actually we're on Yosemite, so, and you can just get it on the computers that way, so.
Well, that's great.
Mhm.
News to
So
me.
it's coming along, it's a growing year for us, so we've had some space requirements. Being a small school, we've had to really
Be creative.
yeah, be creative and get everything just sort of, in one room all together, so we've managed to make it work, so.
Do you see enrollments growing because of the program at all, or is that something that's difficult to determine?
We actually had one young man come over specifically because of our, how advanced we are in technology, math, science. He's very driven that way. So we did get one student
Very good.
so far, but we are definitely promoting that throughout the community by bringing in our business leaders into the school and letting them see how it works. So we're seeing some positive feedback on that, definitely.
Great. I kind of straying from the script a little bit, but Brenda, were you the teacher that was trained, so you're the lead?
For
launch
launch,
teacher?
yes.
For launch.
Can you explain how you taught the rest of the building?
We took the 2 days after I came back from the training, and then I took 2 days and then trained the other teachers, K to 5, and then trained them at the building level.
So that's been a good model?
Yep, that worked well for us.
Excellent.
Was that hard for you to do?
Truthfully, yes. I mean, that was a little uncomfortable for me, but I think since then, that's been a good model for us. They've been able to come to me one-on-one and get advice, or, you know, be able to lean on me for extra assistance as we've gone along through the rest of the year. But of course, I think any time when you stand in front of your peers and have to be able to teach them, that's a little uncomfortable. It's not something that I choose to do on a regular basis. But that was a good stepping stone for me for the future, I think, for me to be able to.
Did you have tools then to do that?
Yeah, of course, I was given everything I needed to do that at the training. There wasn't anything I left not being able to do. I just think it was a learning tool for me. It was something I had to get over.
Admin-wise, it's a really great
Absolutely.
option to
I
have
didn't
that
leave training
available.
with anything that I had to. I was given all of the tools I needed, I guess is what I'm saying. But of course, it's always a little bit of
Absolutely.
Teaching your peers versus
Absolutely.
teaching the little ones is very different.
absolutely.
We do sort of put that out there to schools to say, you know, make sure that launch lead teacher's not, you know, not just great with the young people, but also can teach adults,
Sure.
which can be a very, very different
Sure.
thing.
Can I do it? Yes. Do I choose to do that every day? No.
Right. That's why elementary teacher, right? Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, thank you. So Galen, as a student, how do you see Project Lead the Way, and how has it helped you academically?
Well, you know, it makes it's helped me kind of decide what I want to do, because, you know, civil engineering is what I'm looking at right now. And it kind of gives me a great taste into what civil engineering is about. And also, you know, kind of like you were talking about earlier, it really helps me to see the connection between like physics and more calculus and stuff. You see kind of really what you need those for, and it ties those classes into kind of more of a real world application. And sometimes you see
You're not just taking it just
Yeah.
because the teachers want you to take it.
just get an A in the class, but you actually learn the uses for it.
Do you think you would have considered engineering if you hadn't taken any Project Lead the Way classes?
I probably still would have. My dad's an engineer, and my grandpa's an engineer, so I was additionally, you know, I was actually homeschooled previously to East, and I started my sophomore year, and I was like, oh, Introduction to Engineering Design, you know, I'll take that, and that kind of got me started in this, so I've taken all the other classes there at East since, and I've really enjoyed them.
Excellent. Excellent. That's good to hear. So, let's see. Maybe some of the teachers can comment on how the teaching is different than a traditional. John, you don't stand in front of a class and lecture, do you?
Well, there's not as much of that, maybe as more as so in a traditional class. I think there's an element of collaboration was pretty high. The idea that, you know, you kind of become a little bit more of a facilitator and providing an avenue for the students to collaborate. That's different. A lot of project-based, and so there's always that larger project with small activities that kind of feed that. So it's still that whole traditional method of parts to a whole, but I think the activities, you know, of course, kind of feed that end project that most of the units have. I think one thing that's kind of interesting is that there's kind of this encouragement for the students to put their work up maybe in rough draft state partway through a project, and then have other students, you know, feed on that or critique that or evaluate themselves, and they kind of can bounce ideas off each other. And sometimes maybe in a traditional class setting you wouldn't necessarily see, you know, maybe a student writing a large term paper, they're going to put up their rough draft and have the rest of the students kind of analyze this. And so that idea of collaborate and share and build off of what we know and use others' experiences, I think that that's kind of a unique aspect of some of that curriculum.
It's kind of real life, actually, in engineering.
Yeah.
This is what we do. So
And not that everything always works on the first try, that kind of thing.
very few things work on it.
That's important. So if they don't get it right away, like failure's not not necessarily a bad thing. It's sometimes take a few wrong answers to get to the right one, and that's part of the process. I guess what we're
Is
talking
that what you teach, Brenda? Like with the little ones?
Yeah, but it's okay to make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
What are we gonna do to fix it?
Do you teach them the engineering design process?
Yep.
That's great. The little ones can spout off the engineering design.
They call it that circle.
Very good, very good. And also, has your teaching style changed?
Oh, yeah. That's very well in with my philosophy.
So you're more walking around and helping the kids. Excellent. Well, Galen, can you tell me some of your favorite parts of Project Lead the Way and maybe describe some of the projects you've done?
Yeah, I always really enjoy the hands-on activities. The cardboard chair was one, and that does an IED, and that one was fun, really fun to do.
Cardboard chair?
Maybe that was.
It's got a little adaptation. of
Okay, yeah,
IED too.
that was a
Yeah.
addition then. And the bridge, I believe, was the bridge building, the Balsa Wood Bridge building.
Wish they'd do some of that in POE, yeah.
Yeah, that was had a lot of fun. We went to a little contest and how our bridges crushed, and that was pretty fun to see who's won. I think mine came in third overall.
That's great.
But yeah, so I like the hands-on activities.
So you did the analysis, you did the math
Yeah,
to
yeah,
check
kinda.
the strength of
Yeah,
the
kind of
trusses?
looked at the design, and what shapes are better. You want to use triangles instead of squares.
First rule they teach you.
Yeah.
Very good, very good. Nick, so how do you promote Project Lead the Way to your students, to the school, to the parents? Are there tactics you use to promote the program?
I think usually when you start talking about, I guess what I've done the last year or two, since I've been in the position I'm at in the district office, as a teacher, it's very easy to promote. You start talking or developing relationships with the math teachers, with the science teachers. That was one avenue I really liked to explore when, also helped in my own instruction when I was a POE teacher for the first year, teaching the trust force, or the moments of inertia and things of that nature that I had math since high school. So I was able to break down and kind of also promote what we do in our classes to the physics teachers and to the calculus teachers, and that also promoted our program within the school. Allowed the kids that are really, those the AP physics courses where they have that small engineering piece. Well, here's what we're doing here, and see how they're closely tied together and how the kids can benefit from that. As a district employee or district representative, I have been trying to create just some information to send out to counselors. Would it be kind of a makeshift, almost brochure, kind of a trifold to kind of give some information on courses, kind of the pathway, the sequence, and then kind of how we're implementing those at each high school. Because not all, for instance, some schools, our CEA trained teacher left, and so we don't have someone in there right now. And so we are offering this sequence here, or digital electronics isn't necessarily at all 6 high schools. And so we can advertise the courses that we have a little bit easier for each school. So when the students, sometimes a lot of Lincoln schools are open for enrollment, they can see, well, I can see I'm interested in this, I can go maybe take this at this school if I have the access to the materials that allow us to kind of map out that pathway for them, small, and there's also the online catalog as well that the kids can look at. Each school has their own registration catalog. As far as parents go, usually there was kind of we rely a lot of that at the building level. A lot of our teachers are very good at promoting their courses to the kids and to the parents. As far as the district level wide, we've not had a parent event per se. Now that wouldn't be a bad idea, but that's something we can certainly consider in the future. But as far as the buildings go, our teachers have been very good, and Dan Hohensee at the Career Academy has had parent nights at the Career Academy to allow that to see how that pathway works out of the Career Academy. If that makes sense.
Carla, I know you're just beginning, but have you given any thought about how to promote the program?
We actually do, being a rural community, of course, and being a small school in that community, we take advantage of our social media. So we have definitely posted pictures, videos on our Facebook page, explaining what the kids are doing on the Facebook page, so parents anybody can go log in and see the kindergartners building their little house structures and how it got blown down. So we do that. Our school newsletter, just continuing with our social media for right now is our venue, and it seems to has really done a really great job. The parents really get to see what the kids are doing when they're working on that little project, So especially with the launch kids, so much it's so easy to film what they're doing because they're doing actual structures and things like that,
So you're actually making videos? and
Yes.
things? Well, social media is a great way to promote
yes,
further.
it's been a really good tool for us, so.
And one thing I did forget, I'm glad you mentioned that, I forgot to mention, we have a quarterly newsletter I send out to all of our skilled technical science community members, partnership panels, university members, all the ones I have contacts for. And then it's a quarterly newsletter done. It's about all happenings in STS, or Skilled Technical Sciences. So whatever's happening in Project Lead the Way, we had our summer trainings right up in our first issue that was back in September, October. Then we did another run right around wintertime, and then we're having our fourth one come out yet this spring. And so I try to make sure that anything that's happening in those areas, I usually reach out to either John or Travis or whoever it might be and kind of ask them if they have anything they'd like to contribute to that newsletter, and then I'm able to send that out to the community in kind of a blast. We also house it on our Career Technical Ed website, on our lps.org website. It's available there as well.
Another tool for the smaller schools would be your local chamber.
Oh,
If they're
yes.
bringing, if they're doing a community business luncheon or something like that, have them come out and come to the schools and do a tour around where the kids are doing things like that. So that's a great way for publicity.
Yeah, put those kids in front of people.
Absolutely.
Excellent, well, thank you. So, John, from your opinion, what has been the greatest impact of Project Lead the Way at your school?
Impact, I think it'd probably be kind of a few points would come to mind. I think the idea that the curriculum, for one, it legitimate curriculum made by folks working in the professions, and so years ago there was a lot of time spent having to be a part of that curriculum writing process, but now you buy into an ongoing updated curriculum is online and available live, so that's been a big impact, just the idea that now teaching can be, okay, I've got this curriculum in place, now I can focus on planning, organizing, delivery, and that's been a big impact, I guess, personally, teaching-wise. Also, the partnership team has been nice to have, here we have, again, people in the profession practicing, the kind of stuff we're trying to introduce the students to in class, and so they're more than willing to say, hey, it's field trip time, come on over and see the office and take the tour, send some guest speakers out. That's been a nice impact just to make that, school to business connection. And so I think those two main points, I think the curriculum is solid and then the partnership team both had good impact.
Thank you. I'm going to let you guys end a little bit early. I know a lot of you have been up here for a long time. So I'll ask just one more question, and out of all of you, whoever wants to answer can jump in. What would you consider the greatest strength of the program? Maybe we'll just start with Galen, because John just spoke.
Well, I think that it gives you experience of like what engineers do in high school, and that's can kind of get you, I guess you could say, one up on maybe some other people when you're going to college. For me, actually, I work at a civil engineering firm, and I help them around the office after schools. And in that interview, you asked me, "Do you have any experience on CAD?" And I said yes. And I was able to say that because thanks to PFTW, because otherwise I wouldn't have had that. I don't have the $5,000 to lease or to use CAD and have that the curriculum to teach me that stuff. So.
Great. Brenda?
The greatest strength, I think it's the effect that it has on our students, the experience that it's going to give them, and the real world experience it's going to give them before they even leave the walls of our building.
They're so young, too. Are you seeing
Especially
any,
in launch.
it's early, I know, but are math scores going up or science?
I would say it's too early for us to say in our first year, but I would also say that how couldn't they? How couldn't they?
Great.
I like seeing the little girls get a feeling that they can build a structure, they can figure out how it goes together, they can see how it all works together. I really like seeing how the little ones, especially the little girls, just
So spatial
that little
skills.
light comes on and they're like, oh, I can do this. That's encouraging.
Studies are showing that girls don't learn the spatial skills when they're young.
Mhm.
Spatial skills are needed for engineering, and they can be taught.
Yes,
So why not teach them when they're younger?
absolutely.
They don't have the same access to the toys that the boys do.
Mhm.
So, where do your kids go to high school?
Ability to go to Fremont Public, Cedar Bluffs, Arlington, Concordia. Those are the general options that our students go to, so. We do know Fremont, I think, is in discussions about Project Lead the Way.
They are,
possibly, so.
they are. They're taking a long
I
time.
think
We're
they're already
hoping.
looking at us and
But-
saying,
Yeah,
oh,
right, we're
Trinity
hoping.
is doing that we probably need to investigate.
We would like for
that
our
further.
kids at University of Trinity to move into a high school where there is Project Lead the Way.
Offerings.
We're taking them that step, and we'd definitely love to see a high school that can continue their education. in
Thinking
that.
about those girls,
Mhm.
because those middle school years into high school are critical, and that's where we lose them.
Yes,
They're very excited in 4th and 5th grade.
right, definitely.
And how about you, Nick? We'll just conclude with.
I think one of the biggest strengths of the program, because when you get to the high school level, of course, it's a volunteer course, it's an elective, so the kids typically are in the door, they typically want to be there, or they're interested in learning more about it. I think that one of the most valuable strengths is the rigor it presents. It allows keep that fast-paced, hands-on, kind of exciting curriculum that allows them to kind of not just sit to a lecture hall and be writing on, say, or just writing or reading for the entire time. They're actually interacting with each other. It affects them, not forces, but it encourages them to collaborate. I think that collaboration piece is huge, and work in teams, and of course, and meet deadlines. And so that's one of the biggest things is that rigor, and of course, the impact it has from other areas of curriculum. Their math and science courses, it has that tie-in and ties all together and gives them an idea of opportunities also, like with the professional interview and POE. It allows them to go out in industry, interview someone in the field, and just kind of what's out there for them. From when they do get out of high school, they can make an informed choice about their future and kind of where they want to see, and where they see themselves, and that gives them just a whole ocean of opportunities.
So it's teaching them more than just book skills. They're learning presentation skills, leadership skills.
I was just gonna, kind of something just was thinking about on the way over, talking with Galen too, was that, I think one of those strengths has to be, it just kind of plants that seed. And I've had, like with the CEA class, probably had a half dozen students in the last few years go on to PKI in Omaha at the Scott Scholarship Program. And every time, you run into the parent, you see them at the store, you run them into a PT conference later, and they come back, and I see them again, and they always say, my son or daughter would not have gotten that, they got not gotten that full ride just because they never would have known about PKI for that matter. Never would have known about, the idea that there's a Scott Scholarship Program that's available for people interested in architectural engineering. So it just plants that seed, because then you get them in the fall and they come in and they say, oh, I kind of like this, kind of interesting, it's kind of neat. Well, then you better apply, and then all of a sudden it's a whole window of opportunity that did, hadn't they not taken the class, they would not have known about. So.
Wonderful. Well, thank you. We're going to go offline until about 1:45, so I can give these guys a break. They've been up here for a long time. So if you're sitting at your desk, we will start up again at 12:45. Thank you, or 11:45 Mountain Time. Thank you very much, Pam.
Good job.